We put here to build good character. Why must we serve? Because it helps us to build good character. When you do something for someone else, it's not really for the person you're doing anything. You are the ultimate beneficiary. If I help you do something, I'm not doing for you. It's giving me an experience. It gives me a chance to grow. I'm building good character. That is the vision that Vodun brings to us. If I put in my head that when I help this brother, I'm helping him, or he couldn't walk, so I held his arm. I'm a wonderful person because I'm helping him and I'm doing something for him. So now, he owes me something. Oh yes. But when I know I'm helping the brother, because it will make me stronger. It will build my good character. He owes me nothing. He gave me an opportunity to build my good character. So he owes me nothing. Finished doing, forgotten. Never met the brother. Do you see the difference?
Oh yes.
Not going too fast?
No.
Take your time.
True? Okay. 5 principles. We're coming to number 6. Number 6 is what we call a mutant principle. All the principles we have seen before, we will find them in Africa, and we will find them all over wherever Yoruba people have gone and carried the belief system of Ifa. It will have different names in different places, like we said before, Vodun in Haiti, Lukumi in certain places in South Africa, and South America, Obia in Jamaica, Santeria in Cuba. It is the same basic Ifa belief system that has given all these different belief systems. They're not different, but they have different names, and sometimes the words change a little bit. But the principles remain the same. In Haiti, we'll see 2 other principles which you will not find in Africa. Because everything that is alive is constantly generating new situations, new concepts, new environment will bring new principles. I am certain there is a principle for representing the black men. There is a principle representing the white men. Before there can be a white man, there has to be a principle that says this thing can exist in matter. Okay? So, when white men meets black men, or white men take by force black women, and then we have what we call in Haiti mulatto. So there has to be a principle that existed in order for this matter to come to our eyes. And it has to be before we see it, it existed. Remember, everything exists first where we cannot see it. And then we will see it down the road. So we have this principle called Jaltibois. Jaltibiwa. Jaltibiwa. Jaltibois. And this principle, the clearest way I can put it is if you want an Ogu principle reduced to a very specific task. Jaltibois is during the revolution in Haiti, Jaltibois came to be as the perfect general. It is strictly a military spirit. It is there when you are in battles, there are weapons, there is a battle situation, then you're going to call on Jaltibois in order to deal with it. But he's not going to worry about where the truth is, what the objective is. He is just there for the fighting part of a situation. You see? And we can find thousands of other principles. That's why some people say, well, you can never count how many gods there are in voodoo. Well, there aren't none, or there are many. Each one of us is one. But every situation creates a new principle. A war situation will produce very specific principles. And the last one that I will mention to you is Gede. How many of you have already heard this word, Gede? G-U-E-D-E. Also, you do not find Gede in Africa. That is something that is local. And to me, Gede is, again, a legba reduced to a specific situation. Gede is the principle of facing that which you don't see or don't want to see. Gede is generally represented as a very small person. It's not a child, but it has the size of a child. It's an adult with the size of a child. Gede is very contrary to established rules. Whatever, when somebody is what we call possessed by Gede, if this is a person who is very sophisticated, who only speaks French, who does things with the little finger up and whatnot, when that person is possessed by Gede, this person becomes absolutely no more. All that sophistication is gone. In other words, Gede brings out what the person has been hiding. Whereas in opposite situation, you will find somebody who is not very educated, who does not have a very sophisticated mannerism, generally, and when possessed by Gede, this person is now like a queen, walking, very sophisticated mannerism. Huh? So all these are principles we must understand, not gods that we must serve. Principles that we must know, understand, and apply. It means nothing if you can make a speech about Ogun for 17 hours. But if whenever you hear boom, you jump under the table, you have not learned a thing about Ogun. You know nothing at all. If when a question is asked, you're always looking for, what is it this person wants to hear? In order to fix up your answer. You know nothing about it. You cannot pretend to be a servant of Ogun. Courage is absolutely indispensable for a good life. No courage, no good life possible. Because no courage, there is no truth. And no courage, there is no justice. Must have courage, must have truth, justice, if there is to be good life. When we observe Haiti on a purely historical ground, period of revolutionary period, we observe each hero and heroine. We can identify each one of them functioning strictly on a particular principle. When one studies Toussaint Louverture, if you don't know anything about Verdun, you cannot understand Toussaint. You can only repeat what they say about him. Let me just give you let me try to give you a picture, a clearer picture. If I open any book about Ifa, when they describe Esu Elegba, they will tell me Esu Elegba is represented by a very short skinny man, old, but very agile, very old, even crippled sometimes. But he has the agility of a young person. If you run after him, you cannot catch him. He's very fast. They will tell me that Esu Elegba is the divine interpreter. He speaks all the languages of everything that is alive. He speaks the language of the sun, he speaks the languages of humans, he speaks the languages of trees, and the languages of animals. There is nothing that he cannot speak to. Esu Elegba. They will tell me Esu is the messenger, because since he speaks all the language, he brings messages back and forth. He does the interpretation. And Esu also will defend the truth. That's the Legba part of Esu. Okay. When I take any manual about Austria, about Toussaint Louverture, they will tell me he was a dark, ugly, old man. But he was called the king of the savannah because nobody could catch him once he was on a horse. I will learn that Toussaint spoke French, he spoke English, he spoke Spanish, he spoke Haitian, he spoke Latin. He spoke the languages of all the forces at play on the scene. I will look at Toussaint's work. Toussaint was baptized by the slave masters, the slavers. He was baptized François Dominique Breda. François means a French thing or something that belongs to France. Dominique means born on a Sunday. Breda was the name of the plantation where he was born. We find that as a slave he carried this name. As he entered into the revolution, he got rid of the François and the Dominique, became Toussaint. They say they named him Toussaint because he was born on November 1st, All Saints' Day. And as he really showed himself as a determined leader in the revolution, he got rid of the Breda and people baptized him Louverture. Louverture means the one who opens the way. Toussaint Louverture. In everything that he did, a perfect Legba. And I will go further. Remember I told you in the first example this evening when I started to talk, Legba usually does not go through the door. He opens the way. He shows the way. Everybody else goes. He stays behind. What do we see? Toussaint opens the way for Haiti's independence. Toussaint shows the way for Haiti's independence. And at Independence Day, Toussaint is not there. His work was done. He could go anywhere. But in spite of everybody telling him, warning him, that is a trap. Don't go to this meeting. He said, no, I must go. My work is done here. Toussaint is gone. When we study Suzanne Simon Louverture, Toussaint's wife, everyone who went to his house, we have tons of documents of all kinds of people, whether they were colonizers, whether they were black people, everyone, talking about how Toussaint's house was so well organized that no matter what time of the day or night you came, you could eat, you could find everything you needed. Even when in hiding, this woman was always admired for her capacity to regulate things so they would last till they were no longer needed. But you didn't run out of things when Suzanne was on the scene. So we find Aizan. Toussaint is gone, Isa goes with him. Dessalines comes on the scene. When we read Yoruba literature, we learn that Ogu's function, we said his way of operating is to speak the truth for justice. But his purpose is to eliminate obstacles once an objective is set. Ogu's purpose, eliminate obstacles once an objective is set. What do we see Dessalines do on the scene? Number one, if you read anything about Dessalines, people hate this man and they detest him. Why? Because he spoke the truth bluntly, as Ogu must do. Toussaint spoke the truth, but Toussaint as a Legba, they tell you Legba is the diplomat. Legba will speak in symbolism. Legba will not say, I'm going out of this room. Legba will say, well, my time is almost over. Well, I think soon I should be outside. He turns around. That's a Legba speaking. But then Ogu said, what the hell I'm doing here? Boom! Action and word and action. And the truth is always, no, these white folks, we gotta get rid of them. What is this? We're not gonna stay in slavery no more. Toussaint never said that. Toussaint says, well, the situation is difficult. Slavery is a very hard thing. We must try to do something to eliminate slavery. Not those slavers. That is Legba. It is normal that he speaks that way. That's his role. And it is normal that Dessalines speaks the way he spoke. Legba has to do his work if Ogu is to come on the scene and be able to do his work. It's not a question of Toussaint was no good, he's a so-and-so nigger or whatever, and Dessalines was a... No, each had a role to play. Because life is a continuing flow, so is history. And unless each person takes care of what they're supposed to take care of and do what they're supposed to do, we handicap the one coming behind us. No matter how ready our children may be to eliminate certain situations that are here now, if we, the parents, don't do our share, they will be blocked. If we don't create opportunity for them to pass, how will they go? So Toussaint came and did his work as a good, perfect Legba, operating with a dominant Legba. Dessalines shows up on the scene with a perfect Ogu. All obstacles must be eliminated. The objective must be reached in a time established by me. That's Ogu speaking. And they don't like no Ogu black men. They're more comfortable with Legba black men. But don't worry, Legba black men has their work to do. We don't need them to change. We need them to be themselves. The worst thing we can have is a Legba trying to pretend to be an Ogu, or an Ogu trying to pretend to be a Legba. Be who you are and do your show. So, Dessalines comes in, people says, well, too many white folks here. Gotta get rid of that. We can't have independence that way. My goodness, he's so brutal. But nobody's counting. In the entire revolution, when you put all the Frenchmen, all the British, all the Spanish, all the Portuguese, all the people from Holland, all the Dutch, who came to enslave us in Haiti, only 200,000 of them died. Only. Dessalines allowed over 80,000 French troops to leave Haiti and go to France. You tell me he's a brutal man? I say you a fool. You don't understand nothing. You don't know nothing about no science, and you know nothing about mathematics. You don't even know arithmetic. Because if you had your arithmetic, your facts right, you would know that 450 million Africans were slaughtered during that period. And when you put 450 million against 200,000, you don't have no situation that is barely balanced.
Right. Ratio out.
And as a matter of fact, I would even be tempted to say Dessalines can do the job right. Because had he done it, had he gone far enough with the job, we wouldn't be dealing with what we're dealing now.
Speak on it. Speak on it.
Ogu. Ogu is married to whom, we said? Oshun. Oshun is what? Love. And love is balance, equilibrium, nurturing, providing. And let's look at Dessalines' wife. Marie, Claire, heureuse, félicité, bonheur, Dessalines. That's the name of one woman. And one woman whose father named, while he had chains around his neck, irons around his wrists and around his ankles. When he left the woman pregnant, since he was often put into chains because he wasn't a very docile slave, he said to his woman, "If the child is born before I return, please don't name it until I see it." So when she was born, the mother called her girl. And she was almost 7 when her father was released from his iron bars and came to see his child for the first time. And when he saw her, he took her out, presented her to the universe, and said that in his chain he thought of her name. He knew it was a girl. He never had a name for a boy. And he named her Marie, Claire, heureuse, félicité. And when we look at the meaning of those names, Marie is French, but comes from the Aramaic Miriam, which means the flesh which allows the infinity to experience time, the temple. That's why in most religions, they will name the mother of God Mary, as you say in English. Okay? Claire, which means that which the one who sends out light allows others to see. Claire. Heureuse, which means happy. One who gives happiness, who invites happiness. Félicité, one who experiences continuous, uninterrupted contentment and satisfaction. That's what this man in chains named his child, who will become the first lady of the first freed land in 5,000 years of history. And you think things like this happen by chance? No. And who is this woman with all this names? Okay, I told you her first names, right? Now, life will have it. Circumstances will have it. She stays with one slaver, 15, 16 years. He ran into financial problems. He sold her without ever making any papers for her. So he just sells her with her 4 first names. But he sells her to whom? To Mr. Bonheur, which means happiness. So she receives as a last name, Bonheur. Fine. She's going to meet Monsieur Petit, which means small, with a white man who's going to be crazy about her and buy her 5 times the price she's worth. And when they bring her at night to this Monsieur Petit, because once a white man buys you, don't have too many things to say or do with you, you got only one. So they bring her that night to Monsieur Petit, and she says to this man, "It's true, I am your fan. It's true you bought me, and you have the power and the strength to do anything you want with me. But if you would like to know the woman who lives here, then you will marry me." The man, they say, was stunned, because slaves never raised their eyes to look at the slaver. And here is the slave woman I just bought, very expensive, I might add. And she's going to talk about marrying, and besides, it's against the law. But somehow, they say with her quiet, soft-spoken voice, the man didn't feel the courage to go any further. She said, "Take her back." They took her back while he thought how to deal with this. She was brought back several times, and each time with the same peaceful strength. She would pose her conditions. And in the end, the man paid the judge and married her. He barely lived 8 months. He died 8 months later. She owned everything he had. She'd already purchased her mother and father from slavery and had a fantastic library. He was a painter, all the paintings and whatnot. That's the life of this woman, whose name, you see, the father named Marie-Claire Heureuse Félicité. Powerful names put together. Sounds are not just sounds. Be careful what you name your children. This woman is going to later on, so after the death of this white man, she decides what she wants to do with her life. She has means now. She doesn't like war. She doesn't like fighting. A lot of women went into the revolution. She wouldn't be any part of it. Have nothing to do with weapons. She says what she will do, her mission is, she will go on the battlefields after the battle. Because the custom at the time was, if you cannot get up and walk away from the battlefield, you are considered dead. It may be that just somebody fell on you or a horse fell on you and you can't get up. But nobody's going to look at you. Once the battle is over, everybody that can walk walks out and the rest stays there. So she decides that's her job. She will go on the battlefield, separate the living from the dead. Go under it. She's a very thin woman. Go under this huge big man. Pick them up. Put them on her wagon. She had a special slanted wagon that she had made. And brought these people, pile them up on her wagon, take them home, and take care of them. She had fantastic talent in taking and giving help with leaves and trees and flowers and natural. And that's how this woman lived for a number of years. Until 1801, when she met on the battlefield Jean-Jacques Dessalines. He came back to analyze why the battle went the way it went down. And he saw this woman dragging man onto a wagon. He went to help her. They started to talk. He fell in love, proposed to marry. She says, "No, I don't want to marry, because I've given myself a mission. I want to help the man left on the battlefield for dead." He says, "Well, I'm Jean-Jacques Dessalines, big-time general. If you marry me, you'll be in a better position to do this." He says, "No. Usually when women are married, they're unable to do certain things." He says, "No, I give you my word. You can do anything you want when you're married to me." He convinced her. She said, "But we're going to sign a contract. Marrying you leaves me free to think, speak, and act according to my convictions. Marrying you will not, your enemies will not automatically become my enemies. That's so easy. She had 4 points, but the last one, he blew away. No, how can I? I'm running for, this is a revolution for independence. How could my enemies be your friends? Well, then we cannot get married. And Desmond said, okay. She wrote the text. She signed. She said, sign here. Desmond said, don't know how to write. This is okay. I'll teach you. Make your cross. But when they got married, he signed his name. This is love. And he respected this woman, and this woman respected her man. He was strength, and she was the balance formula that kept strength from going overboard, that brought justice in the life of Dessalines. There are several examples to this, but when we look at Marie-Claire Rose Félicité Bonheur Dessalines, we see pure Oshun in operation. Those principles are not there as something out there spooky for us to admire. They are for us to know ourselves. When you learn the principles, then you look at yourself and try to see who you are naturally. All of them are in us, but there is a dominant principle. Once you identify your dominance, the dominant principle in you, you have identified your strength. And those that are not dominant in you are your weaknesses. So now you're going to build them up. Don't say I'm an ogu. It's okay that I just push all the time. No. Yes, in certain situations that's it. But you have to also learn to be a lekba. You have to also learn to be a Oshun. Don't say I'm a man, I can be no Oshun. You need to be a Oshun. You need to be an Aizan. We need to develop every principle in ourselves. That's what will make us strong. Am I going to see, when I see a 3-year-old child crying who needs a little affection and care, I'm going to say, I'm going to shoot, I'm going to goop, so I'm going to, what's the matter with you, child? No. I need to be Oshun, no matter what. So each situation, I'm going to learn that's what's going to make my strength. In this situation, I know that I need to be Oshun. Here, I need to be Ogu. Here, I need to be Legba. What I need, that's what will make me strong. And at every moment, I'm operating on strength. Not pretending. Operating on what is best for that situation, for this particular time. Remember, to be right is to be the right person, in the right place, at the right time, operating on the right principle.
That's good.
Yes. If you have all the first 3 and the last one is wrong, you mess it all up. In order to do this, we must look into ourselves. You can't be functioning with yourself day in and day out and you don't know who you are. You don't know what is your dominant trait. When I'm going in a debate, for example, with someone, from the little bit that you've heard, who am I? What is dominant? Take a guess. What do you see? Huh? What do you say? Somebody said something. Huh? Ogu. What do you say? What do you say? I'm Ogu dominant. That's true. Knowing that, when I'm going to have a debate or I'm having a discussion with someone, I know that I will have a tentative to want to do everything quickly and powerfully. Then no, this is not a battlefield right here. This is you and your man. Take time, give him a break. And you know he can't go as fast as you do. He ain't no good. A good is quick. I gotta give the other person a chance to, then we can have a discussion. Otherwise, when I was very young, I would just frighten people. I come in so strong, people are just afraid and then no discussion, that's it. And it's, this woman is a tyrant. It's true. We gotta look at things for what they are. We can't be afraid of ourselves. And we have to understand the other ones looking at you. Of course, a Oshun character looking at an Ogu personality will say, boy, I can't deal with this one. This one is just too. See, we have to. And that's your strength when you know. So when I know I'm going to deal with this type of character, then I have to take a little bit of develop, shine up my Oshun personality, and then come in. See, at some point, Ogu may have to take over. That all depends how things are. But I'm going to give Oshun, I'm going to give Legba, I'm going to give Aizan all the opportunities to talk to you first. And I'm going to hold back on Ogu, because I know he's always there. The others, I have to work at it to bring them out. It's not natural. So, but if I did not know, I would constantly be in shock with everybody. It's very important to know who you are. Know your strength. Know your weaknesses. Don't be afraid. As an Ogu, I naturally speak loud. Ogu brings the thunder. Yes. But in recent years, with maturity, I've learned to also learn to speak soft. That's when I bring my little Oshun out. And everybody's okay with, they feel more comfortable with this one. But be careful, if you mess up, Ogun gonna come out. That's right. And I'm not responsible for what he does. No belief system is worth anything if it does not bring you to improve your life. The reason we're here is to make each day better than the one before. If we're not on that path, then we don't need to be here. What we believe in is no good. Something's wrong with our belief system. We need to question it, throw it out, get something else.
That's right. That's right.
If you're into something and it's not taking you anywhere, why in the world are you going to stay in it? No. You didn't come to the service to suffer. Believe me. The stuff they told us in the church, that we came here because, we have to suffer and pay our sins. No, I don't know for somebody else. But you and I, brothers and sisters, we don't have no sin, no original sin to pay. Guaranteed. We have no original sin to pay. And what is worse, look at those criminals who ate 450 million Africans, reduced the continent population by half. Then they came to this man here. Totally eliminate the entire population of 2 continents and 1,000 islands. And they're not satisfied? Yeah, they're not atoning anything. I don't see them suffering and going through all the stuff we're going through. So why should I pay for some original sin when the everyday sinner is paying for nothing?
Let's get that sinner.
No. You have no original sin, or your slate is clean.
Thank you, sister.
The divine lives in you. You don't need to go anywhere to meet with God. Just look in the mirror.
Yes. Thank you.
Trust in yourself. Learn to know yourself. Take time to know yourself, to meet yourself, to dialogue with you. Yes, some people, if they see you, will say, that woman is crazy. That's okay. Keep on. I talk to Bayyinah all the time. Pull her coat when she's acting stupid. Clap for her when she does something nice. But I always know as a human, she's going to act stupid sometimes, no matter what, no matter how long she lives. But I don't get upset. I just, tell her, hey, listen, girl, this number here, you don't need to do it again. And I keep on going. I'm not going to go through any traumatizing, going through all kind of, oh my goodness, I did, oh, no. There's one word, only one, something the Bible says that I'm interested in repeating. It says, know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And that's the truth. You did something stupid? Don't beat up on yourself. Just speak it up. Hey, listen, girl, this year, that's no good. You know you shouldn't have done that. You talk to yourself, you face up to the fact that you did something stupid, and that's the end of that. You go on about your business. No tears necessary. No, my foot. You don't need all this. No. Take hold of your life. When you see somebody, identify who they are. If it's a no good, don't put yourself in their way. Because he will identify you as an obstacle and you will be eliminated. Generally, you stand on the side when talking to a group. You don't stand in his way. As a matter of fact, intelligent people don't stand in the way of any force. You take a position to lead their path, lead.
Thank you. I need to do this today. Thank you.
So, identify the principles in all things.